My name is Michelle McCoy, and I am the Program Manager for the Miami Film Life Center. The Miami Film Life Center is based here in Overtown, Miami, and we service the needs of the up-and-coming and the aspiring filmmakers here in Overtown and the surrounding communities. We're also funded by the CRA, which is the Community Redevelopment Agency, Park West. Our mission is to enhance awareness and accessibility of film and filmmaking to the residents of Overtown and the surrounding communities. Our vision is to be a gateway for independent filmmakers, creating insight, sharing education, and providing opportunities. So what exactly do we do here at the Miami Film Life Center, located here at the beautiful Chapman House? Well, we provide networking and training opportunities, masterclasses, workshops, film screenings, and the library that offers a selection of books that can help anyone who's interested to find out more about the industry. This summer, here at the Miami Film Life Center, we had an awesome group of young people who wanted to learn the basics of film production. I hope you enjoyed this short film.
This 2.5-story home is the most elaborate home standing here in Overtown. It still preserves the sophistication the community was known for. My name is Yulisa Reyes, and I'm here in front of the Chapman House. Rumor has it that William Chapman was tortured by a group of young ladies.
Willie, Willie is a sissy, plays with dolls and looks.
But one day, as my great-grandmother Yaya told me, things were a little bit different.
Willie, Willie is a sissy, plays with dolls and looks real silly.
Isis always loved to garden. After all, it was only flowers she was gentle with. She often planted alone, and everyone knew that wasn't always a good idea. Samaria, she ate just about everything, except peanuts, of course, since she was allergic. Samaria loved to cook and she loved to bake. With all the sweets she made, you would think she was sweet too. In Jamaris, as often as that girl read books, you would think she could read. But not with that stutter she had. Maybe that was why she was so mean. And Kiana, what a vain young lady. She thought her face was the most precious gift on earth. Did Chapman finally get revenge from those girls who had always tortured him? Who had bothered him so badly for playing doctor with his ragged doll? And did the only person who was nice to him was also the only survivor? Well, my great-grandmother never really cleared that up, but I think I have a clue. Chapman?
But remember, folks, this is just a rumor. The Chapman House is now a center for young ladies to come during the summer. This was Julissa Reyes reporting from Mflc Studios. Till next time.
I hope you liked that short film as much as I did. Here at the Miami Film Life Center, we truly hope to become an integral part of this community and position our young people to become the change agents that they are meant to be. Now, let's take a look at Overtown.
Colored Town, that is what Overtown, a community in Miami, Florida, was called during the Jim Crow era. The home to predominantly African Americans, Overtown has served as a second oldest neighborhood for Black residents and as the heart of South Florida's history.
Overtown history started back in, I'd say 1896. There were a time when they were trying to incorporate the city of Miami. And in doing so, they didn't have enough white men to do so, because during that year, women had no right to vote, so they didn't use women. So Flagler, the man who the railroad was named after, was building a railroad from Jacksonville to Miami. And he had black laborers, and so they hired these black laborers to come in and sign the petition in order that the city of Miami might be incorporated. Now, they lived in a place further north of the city called Ogis, but they had no further participation in the bonding of the city government of Miami. But Miami was a thriving city.
A location that embodies all of the brilliance of Overtown is the Dr. William A. Chapman House. Built in 1923 by Dr. Chapman and his wife Mary Louise, the home became symbolic of hard work. Chapman was one of Miami's first Black physicians, earning his medical degree and then practicing medicine in Miami's Black community.
The house that we're in right now, the granddaughter or the daughter of Dr. Chapman taught at Booker T. Washington. Her name was Wilhelmina Retta. She married Mr. Carl Retta, who was also a teacher at Booker T. Washington High. Their daughter, Carlotta Retta, who would be Dr. Chapman's granddaughter, she and I grew up together and used to play in this house as small kids, young kids.
One of the first Black dentists was Dr. Chapman. His son, Dr. William Chapman Jr., we were very close to him. My mom actually used to take care of him.
I joined the City of Miami Police Department in 1954. I stayed 25 years. I've gone through many battles with the city, along with others, in court, out of court, seeking civil rights for us, better treatment for us, promotions for black police officers. As you note, that was a time when segregation was the order. You had no rights as black citizens during that time because of the law, Jim Crow law as we call it, whereby you didn't ride the front of the bus, you didn't sit down and eat in a white establishment, you didn't rent hotels and things like that. But through it all, here I am. Prior to 1944, there were no black police officers in the city of Miami or Dade County, Florida. The city hired 5 black men. As you said, these black men didn't have a place to work out of. In fact, about it, they didn't have cars to ride in. They walked the beat and rode bicycles. And subsequently, they were given cars as the department grew. They was also given this building that we call a museum as a precinct. And incidentally, this is a unique building, the only building of this kind in these United States, the only city that can boast about having its own police station for blacks, with its own courthouse, its own judge. Incidentally, we had the first black judge in the state of Florida, city of Miami, Dade County, Florida, who presided over the courtroom here in this building, which was called the precinct. And we had trials for all the people that were arrested. And at that time, we only arrested black prisoners, offenders. We could have detained white offenders, but we couldn't arrest them unless it was for a felony that was committed in our prison. We happened to see it, and that's the only time we arrested white. And the museum, the precinct opened in 1950. We stayed here until 1963. 1963, we were integrated into the main police department, which was just 7 blocks down the street from here.
The Ritz Theater is the theater where I saw the 10 Commandments when it first came out, and I believe that was 1959.
The Lyric Theater, built in 1913, housed the biggest stars in American history. Performers from all across the country built out gospel hits and jazz, such as Sam Cooke and Aretha Franklin. Operated by Girder Walker, the Lyric Theater became a place of entertainment, economic influence, and pride.
The culture mainly now is, now it's a mixed culture. Back then it was predominantly black or Negro or colored town, as it was once called.
Bohemian music has always been a part, as well as the American jazz and music that we played, because we had many big bands to come through, such as Count Basie, Erskine Hawkins, and all of those type of people come through and play. Bohemian music was a mainstay because you had quite a few Bohemian descendants here in Overtown.
fondest memories I have is when I was a little girl and I was allowed to go around to the corner store. They used to have these really big, huge oatmeal cookies, and they only cost like 1 penny. And then we could buy bottles of soda. If you trade in a bottle, you can get one for like 10 cents.
The school itself and my friends and the things we used to do, the games, the fun we used to have, so forth and so on. Everything has changed now. It's not like it used to be, but have fond memories of those days.
Well, growing up Overtown was it was a happy time. We entertained ourselves by going to house parties on weekends and having party sales. We had clubs that we go to like on a Sunday afternoon, and it's a thing called Blue Hours. You know, you go and hear a good band playing. During that time growing up, certain areas like 2nd Avenue, 3rd Avenue, especially 2nd Avenue was like what we call a little Harlem in New York. We had nightclubs, we had big bands coming down, and all of the big entertainers we got to see because they would play on the beach, but they couldn't live on Miami Beach. And so they would come over here and they would entertain, and we would get to see some of them.
The biggest misconception of Overtown is they think that it's an area, well, a lot of people outside looking in thinking that it's a dangerous area. There are promising young people that's around here. There are lawyers, doctors, people that's teachers. You have a lot of people, a lot of young people that's very inspired. Even the place that I work at, Overtown Youth Center, and even this place where I'm at now, you know, there's a very inspiring young people that's growing up. And I think everybody who's outside looking in should not think that everybody that's Overtown is bad and they have a bad influence, or they're just going around the wrong direction.
Let's see, that it's a tough place to grow up in. It is now compared to the way it was back then, but it's still not as bad as a lot of people tend to make it or want to say that it is.
I think one of the misconceptions would be that it's nothing but crime, and that you can't walk the streets, for fear of your life.
I often wish, and this is really wishful thinking, that it could be the way it was, and that the people, the youth of the day, you all, for example, could experience what we experienced back then, when we had a great time growing up in town.
The major changes is, well, again, with the film school you have here, and Overtown Youth Center, you have Overtown Football League. These are things that would inspire the young people to be who they want to be. And if we have places like this and mature adults to inspire and have teachers as of this place here in the Overtown Youth Center, we should take the young people for a long ways. And
Come on, you're welcome, let's go. Miami Film Life Center, woo, join.